Hi lovely people, and welcome to Little Moments, Big Shifts, the podcast that empowers you to prioritise yourself and evolve into the person you were always meant to be. I'm your host, Emma Longbottom, founder of Wellbeing with Emma. Welcome. Let's get into today's episode. Hi my loves, how are you? I hope you're all doing really well and enjoying the sunshine and the lovely energy that we're now June, aren't we? That this June sunshine is bringing us. So I wanted to talk today. If you follow me on Instagram, I actually mentioned this on my stories, I think last week. But I thought it'd be nice to explore it in a bit more detail in the podcast. So as you know, I am writing a book at the moment, and I'm actually just getting to the final stages. I'll probably give you a little update on that maybe next week, because I'll have spoken to my editor by then and I'll have had the final edits back from her. Woo! Exciting. I can't say if I'm excited or nervous, but I think it's a bit of both. So I'm writing the book, and the book is Why Prioritising Rest Will Change Your Life. And in it I go through the chapters like how rest supports you physically, how rest supports you mentally, how rest supports you emotionally, and then how rest supports you energetically. And I've had a few people as part of the editing process read it, and obviously I've had my editor read it a couple of times as well. And the best feedback I've got on any of the chapters is on that energy chapter. And it's really interesting because that is the chapter that I didn't really do any research on. Like, I've done loads of research for this book, so I really wanted to make sure I got the science right behind why rest is so important and what's happening in our bodies. But on that energy chapter, it just flowed. It just came out of me without me needing to look anything up, without me worrying that anything wasn't quite right or was wrong, or, I knew that. So first of all, there was that happened. And then I've also, in my yoga classes, the last 7 weeks, because we're on our final chakra this week, we've been going through the 7 main chakras. So we started at the root 7 weeks ago, and we've been working our way up the chakras and just exploring in our meditations, like what they are, what they do. We've been working in the physical body with the parts of the body that chakra governs. We've been using affirmations to connect to that energy and the colours, and we've just been sort of going through an overview of what the chakras are, and just so that people get a bit of a flavour and can start to think about like how that might resonate in their bodies. And I quite often do this maybe once or twice a year, go through the chakras, because people always really enjoy it. I always get really good feedback from it. But what happens quite often, and it's happened a few times this time, is at the end of a class, someone will come and they'll ask me in a little bit more detail, or they'll say, that really resonated, and they'll explain to me why, which is really lovely. Because I always trust that the right people are in the room, because not everybody comes every week, but I always trust that the right people are there for the right weeks that they need. But a couple of people have asked me if I can recommend a book about the chakras so that they can read about it in more detail. Now, obviously, I've recommended my book, which isn't out till September, but, they can get it on. But pre-order will be available soon, hopefully, when I get that sorted. But what I realised when they asked me that is I actually haven't read or researched about the chakras. I have done training. I've done like my Reiki training, and I've done a separate chakra healing training as well. But actually all that was helping me to remember, and that's what I've come to realise over these last few weeks. It's all sort of started to slot into place that actually I haven't learned this information. I've remembered it. And that actually I worked as a healer. I worked with the chakras. I worked with people's energies previously in another lifetime. My soul has done this work before. And it's been really lovely to understand that and to get that knowing. And I'm sure some of you are listening going, what on earth is she on about? And if you don't believe in past lives, then you might want to skip to next week or go back to a previous one. But I believe that my soul has been on many journeys, and this is not the first time it's been here as a human. And that when you come because your soul wants to follow a path and learn a lesson and do something in this lifetime. And what I've realised is that I have done some of this work before, but that it lay dormant in me for a long time. And I don't know how long, and I haven't done much past life work, or I'm sure I know some wonderful people who I could do that work with, and I probably will. But yeah, I got this deep knowing that I have done this work before, but that information and that knowledge and that magic, because honestly it is magic, it's grounded in a lot of science and a lot of physics, but there is a lot of magic to it as well when you work with energy. I have done this work before. And so in this lifetime, I haven't learnt it, I've remembered it. And I think one thing that I've been struggling with over the past few years since I went full time in my business is being visible. And I've done loads of work on like the witch wound, which is a wound that a lot of women carry from, historically during the witch trials, and things like that. I'm not going to go into loads of detail about what happened there, but I think you probably know, that women were persecuted, women with gifts, women who were healers, who believed in energy and who couldn't be tamed, were killed and persecuted. And a lot of people in my world who do this kind of work feel that. So a lot of us really struggle to feel visible and to talk about it and to do things like promote our businesses and talk openly about our beliefs and our gifts, because it wasn't always safe. There was in the not that distant past. I said that in the wrong order, but I think you know what I mean. In the not too distant past. Sorry about that, guys. Just to rearrange those words into your own sentence. In the not too distant past, women were persecuted and killed for it, and so there is something in our DNA, in our nervous system, that feels unsafe to talk about it. And I've done loads and loads of work on that, which it's obviously working is the work that I've been doing, because I'm talking to you about it now. And I've also, my editor pushed me last week actually to add something about this into my book, because she'd seen it when I put it on my Instagram stories. So I'm really excited to explore more around these gifts and this energy and what that means for my life and my business over the next the coming weeks, months, probably years. But I just wanted to share that because it might resonate with some of you, that sometimes you go on a course or you learn something, and then you sort of like actually if you sit with it, it's like, I feel like I already knew this. I feel like someone's just sort of reiterated something that I knew, and you don't always know why you know it or where you know it from, or something's just pop into your head and you know an answer to something and you're not sure where from. So yeah, if you've ever experienced that, maybe you've got the same, maybe you've done that work in another lifetime. I don't know. Let me know if it resonates and if you felt the same. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, my loves, I will explore more of this in future episodes, but for now I will leave it there, and I hope that you prioritise yourself and take care of yourself this week.